Sup, boys. I have seen a lot of videos on this immigration stuff. There are a lot of crazy videos coming out as well, but I don't wanna, I don't wanna say anything negative to anybody. I think the protest against it's against the migration, not the immigration. I think it's happening for a very long time. I think this is the I think this is the tipping point for Australian people and including other Western country, which which that we know there are a lot of this kind of problem happening right now. So let's go watch this clip, see how what's happening in Australia.
That
Cool.
certainly happened in Melbourne yesterday, and nor should we welcome extreme or hateful views being aired at public protests. And that certainly happened at some of the rallies against our out of control immigration policies yesterday. Now, I've got no appetite at all for this sort of stuff. Sickening neo Nazis and racists ought to be exposed at every turn. But we do need to have a thorough debate about our immigration policies, of course, because they are out of control. The Albanese government promised to reduce migration and it hasn't delivered. And we do have a housing crisis, not to mention the worst social division in living memory in this country. And the extremists poison this.
Yeah, and there are a lot of social division that's happening right now because I think when the policies are being brought to normalize all this mass migration or make the society inclusive or diverse society, so nobody knew this good thing's gonna happen. So this I think this is the new thing that Western people slowly realizing that people not gonna assemble lot of time, people um not gonna not gonna be like assemble to your culture and society. A lot of because a lot of migration are my immigration or migrant people are coming from very different background and culture than Australian people. So now it's 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 happening all over the Western country because I think many Western country is kind of going through this kind of uh, immigration problem.
This debate so that bad policies continue because all the opposition to them is tarred with the same extremist brush. So today I want to show you how the media and some of our politicians seem to have different approaches to different kinds of extremism and hatred. They hide some forms of extremism, they make excuses for it, and they oppose others. I prefer to be consistent. I'll call out the hateful Islamist extremists and the feral socialist antagonists, as well as the neo-Nazis and the racists. Let me show you what I mean, just by showing you some ABC coverage of yesterday's events compared to their coverage of anti-Israel and pro-Palestinian protests last month. Flick onto yesterday's coverage, and it was the unsavoury angles that dominated.
But walking among the crowd, well-known neo-Nazis. Despite denying its involvement in organising the march, National Socialist Network members were prominent. A neo-Nazi leader bestowed the honour of final keynote speaker.
Now, the extremists were there. They should have been highlighted. But the ABC could also have included more mainstream citizens airing their concerns.
I think labeling everyone's saying they're Nazi, labeling everyone, because of course there are not everyone's Nazis. I think there are some people who had this kind of stuff going on the crowd. But I think a lot of people are genuinely angry and frustrated with their own leaders. I think they are just regular Australian people. I don't think that everyone is Nazis on that group. I think that's why a lot of people kind of resents mainstream media nowadays. Because yeah, of course, everybody, a lot of people knows that mainstream media has their own agenda and propaganda. So that's what I think. This kind of news kind of stuff with the mainstream media kind of radicalize more people to come out because they feel like they haven't been heard, or they've been labeled as a really nasty person, which like which n- not all of them or a lot of them are not like that. So I'm just want to make this clear to you guys.
Concerns.
I love everything about Australia. That's why I chose to come here, but it's not the same anymore. I don't think immigration is wrong, but you should it has to be limited. Our children, grandchildren, they don't have any jobs now, and they don't have homes to live in. And what is the big fun in bringing people? And at this age, after my retirement, I'm still working, still paying the tax. For what? Yes. To support these people who come in as immigrants? So there should be, I always feel it's less is more.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I understand there were.
Yeah, I think that lady makes more sense to the broad population, Australian population. I think, yeah, that's how they feel in broad sense.
Coming in from behind appeared to be anything but extremist.
But you didn't really get a sense of that from the ABC.
Stop the invasion! Stop the invasion!
In Sydney, police say there were about 15,000 in the crowd. Members of a neo-Nazi group were also among the speakers there, but were booed out by others at the protest.
Now, once again, to be clear, this stuff should be reported, along with the disgusting poster of the alleged cop killer Desi Freeman, which the ABC rightly highlighted. So the point here is how the ABC focused on the extremists and the hatred. They disagree with the main thrust of the protest, so they reported them in an entirely negative way. Compare that to their coverage of the pro-Palestinian and anti-Israeli march across the Sydney Harbour Bridge last month.
Despite the rain that come from all over the city and beyond.
Wow.
We just wanted to protest about what's going on in Gaza at the moment. There's too many deaths of young children, too much.
So I think that's the pro-Palestinian march that happened last week, and a lot of people were against it because I think they using Harbour Bridge, which is very iconic bridge, and a lot of people were against it, and a lot of people were supported it. Let's see.
Starvation.
It's a sign of the turning tide of the opinion in this country, and it's a sign that people aren't going to put up with it anymore.
The choice of location was intended to send a powerful message.
Concern for the starvation of the Palestinian people expressed in Sydney on our famous bridge. That'll go right round the world.
They could not have portrayed this as more mainstream, more uplifting, or more righteous, using the most agreeable pictures, players, and comments. It was more like an advertorial than a news piece.
For some, the sheer numbers of people turning up was overwhelming.
I can't look at the crowd. I'm not crying. I can't. Thousands have braved this weather, the courts, and the warnings of the New South Wales Premier Chris Minns to be here today. Their message is the loudest it's ever been. They are deeply concerned about the level of human suffering taking place in Gaza. They want it to stop, and they're calling on the Australian government to act now.
An advertorial indeed. So remembering what the ABC showed us about yesterday's protests, what did the ABC fail to show people from that bridge march? First, they didn't talk about the hardline socialists who organised the protest. The Palestine Action Group is often led by a self-described socialist revolutionary, Josh Lees, who writes for the website of the Socialist Alternative, which is a Marxist outfit. But the ABC report left him out, of course, and they also edited out the Islamist elements, like the Islamist hate preacher Sheikh Ibrahim Dadoun, who claimed to be doing.
Did you know that AI employees can help you scale your business 10 times faster while you
I'm
sleep?
gonna-
Let me show you how. Motion scans your website, your emails, and any documents.
I'm going to show you another video. What's happening? So since this government came to power, there has been over 1 million migration in Australia. So that's a lot of number in very short period of time. Because Australia is big country, but the infrastructure are not that much because population is not big. It's a big country, but a lot of people just live in the coastal area, right? So it's not sustainable for a country to have those many people. Of course, it's going to create a lot of problem in the long run. Anyway, that's the thing going on in Australia. I don't think it will stop anytime soon. But I'm gonna keep posted. I'll update to you guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know, are Australian people on the right side? Is the government going too far on immigration? Is there has to be some kind of limit to the immigration? And should we not start dividing people already? Because there are a lot of Australians who came from overseas who take country as their own country. They've been living here for a very long time, and a lot of people who looks like me, they're born here. So you can't just say Australian are white, neo-Nazi, and all this stuff, because this gonna harm people like us later on. So I'm gonna let you guys go now. I'm gonna keep posted again. Check it out.